So let's set up a little school demonstration aquaponics system so your kids can have a school project that they can take to school and talk about it. So we're doing this as cheaply as possible, as simply as possible. So there's a more advanced video. Go check that one out. But let's get this going because this is only going to take a couple of minutes to actually set up and your kids have an awesome science project to take to school. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm putting videos up every couple of days, so make sure that you hit subscribe so you can get all of them. Righto, so we have our glass fish tank. I can't tell you the exact sizes of what we're doing because it's going to depend on the size of fish tank you have. I found this on the side of the road. Pretty awesome. It's a 60 litre fish tank. It's really good clean. There is a YouTube video showing you how to clean your aquarium when you get it second hand. Check that one out. I am also using a storage container. This is a temporary thing. This is not UV stable. So if this is out in the sun, I guarantee you it will crack and it will break. You want to find something a bit more sturdy, go for it. But the reason I can't give you the measurements is because what growth size you use is going to be different to what I'm using right now. But I'm going to show you how to set it up and you can then do the math yourself. All part of the experience, isn't it? Right. Sorry to interrupt. Look, to really boost your aquaponics learning, jump on over to my website for some free online training, and it's really structured and it's going to help you get a really good grasp of how this works rather than trying to pick it bits and pieces everywhere. Let's get the foundations happening, okay? So some free online training at www.theaquaponicslady.com. Jump on over and get your free training. Yeah, so we have a very small aquarium pump, and often you will find that they have an adjustable flow value on it, which is awesome. You need to make sure the water can get from the bottom of the tank where the pump will be up into your grow bed. So check when it talks about head height, that's what you need to make sure it's going to reach that height. So we have our pump and we have some 13mm irrigation piping. Cool. So let's put that piece on there. I like to have a valve in the fish tank from the pump in case the water flow is still too strong coming from the pump. I want to make sure that I can, move the water around in the fish tank. And having it going across the top means it can add a little bit of extra aeration. So at that point, I need a T-joint, T-fitting, so a 13mm barbed T section, which, the thing about irrigation piping, they all just push in. From here, this is where I have my valve. I have another piece of irrigation piping, 13mm, attached to the valve, open, close, very simple, which we attach onto here. You're going, how can you work out the height? Because that was the maximum height that I would like my water to be at. So pre-measured, but that's what it will be. And we're wanting to get the water to come up into the grow bed. So you can see the next lot of irrigation piping pushes on, which is really wonderful. You can see, nice. We have our 13mm elbow, barbed elbow. Barbed just means that it's going to allow for the irrigation piping, it's going to hold it on. So what this is doing, and then the extra piece of irrigation piping will then take all of the water into the grow bed. Excellent. Whoopsie. Now, before we put that in the tank, I want to make sure I've got the grow bed ready so that any water that comes in will go out. Water coming in, water coming out. So this is where I have a 20mm male adapter, nice screw-in part, and a 90mm cap, which goes really well with my 90mm pipe with lots of holes in it, which ends up being my media guard. Make sure you screw it in once you've finished it all, because we don't want anyone, and no, I'm not talking about kids, I'm talking about the adults going, what does this do? And then have all that expanded clay go into the fish tank. So that's why we have a cap here. And what we'll be doing, we'll be screwing the 20mm adapter into the hole that's pre-drilled, same size hole that is in the grow bed, and we are screwing it from the inside through. You want a nice tight fit, because what we're going to be adding now, before I say that, you'll notice that I have drill holes, 3 of them here. That's where I'm going to be screwing that media guard in. Now we are adding an O-ring that sits tightly onto that male adapter. Okay, too big, it's not going to do the job. We don't want any water dripping out from the grow bed, because if you can imagine, that can end up causing a problem. Now we very carefully, especially when you're using a plastic container like this, very carefully screw the male adapter with the cap into your grow bed, and we'll turn it over here now so you can see. A little bit sticking out. If you've got another O-ring, put it on. I haven't done that as tightly as I could because I know how easy this is to crack. We have a female 20mm adapter, which we then screw on here. Ideally, I would put another O-ring on there, but I'm going to hurt it if I try. And what we have, now at the very least, if you leave it like that, and it's sitting over the fish tank, just drop down here, you'll see the water will come out into the fish tank. But this is where, just to doubly make sure, I'm using the wrong fitting. That doesn't help. You could have a piece of piping hanging in there. For some reason, Candy's put the wrong fitting on, but that's okay. And we have our standpipe. Wrong size pipe, wrong pipe, that's what it was. I've got different piping sitting here. Sorry, my bad. 20mm pipe as opposed to the 15mm. Huh. Still wrong piping here. Still 15. Oh, candy. I'm still using the 15mm. 20mm piping, as you see, works well. 15mm into a 20mm does not work. I'm holding onto too many bits of piping here. But putting that extra bit of piping here does make sure that the water's going to go directly into your fish tank. But I need that up here because I can't find the other one. This is the standpipe that we're going to place in here. We need this to be at a level for the grow bed media, okay? So when you're measuring it, you need to make sure that you've got a couple of centimetres from the top, which is going to stay dry, and the rest of it wet. And that's how we identify how high we want this standpipe to be, including the piping, so the male adapter and the cap. So I want this standpipe, I'm going to show you from here, to come to approximately here. And that should, actually, that standpipe is right where this bend is here. So that means I've got a good amount of dry gravel and then a good amount of wet media. The wet media is where your bacteria is. So you want to make sure you've got a good amount of wet bacteria. So that is the standpipe. And this is where we'll be putting in our media guard. Getting that into the right spot where we've already pre-drilled our holes. Screwing that in with stainless steel screws so that we can't pull that out. Right, now let's put our pump in, getting it out of the way of everything. I'm going to stress the stand that I am using. Oh, hot and humid here today. The stand that I am using, that is not stable, right? Make sure that your stand is stable. This is a demonstration system for you. If I was doing this for a school project, I would not use this stand. It's empty, okay? It's going to hold for the moment. You're talking 36 litres of water and clay. It's going to be heavy. You do not want to put that straight on your glass aquarium. It will shatter it, I promise. You want to make sure you do have a sturdy stand. I've just knocked this together with scraps of wood in the garage, okay? Full disclosure there. You need to make sure you've got a strong stand so that you don't have anything collapsing. So back to our pump. We've got our pump down the bottom. We've got the valve to shoot off any excess water. We have water coming into the grow bed. And here's where we start talking about our different types of filtration. So the expanded clay that you're going to put in there is the biological filtration. So that's where all of the ammonia that the fish release is converted into nitrite and then nitrate by the nitrifying bacteria. And it's the nitrate that all the plants absorb, that's their fertilizer, and they filter that water for the fish. The water will drop down through here, back into here. So it's filtering. But oh my gosh, what we don't want is for any of the solid waste to get into that grow bed with all of that expanded clay. It turns out being really, really smelly, right? And it will start killing everything, and it will affect your water quality. So for this little easy, simple system, school project, your kids should be able to knock this up with a little bit of help from mum or dad. We have, again, a little bit of a 90mm pipe, just enough so that it will sit at the top of your grow bed. So you're going to have expanded clay all down the bottom and all around the sides, because what we're wanting is we're wanting water to come in here and for this to catch the solid waste. So we're going to bring the camera around and move it here, and you can see we also have a piece of 50mm PVC pipe, again, holes drilled in, and we have some of mum's stockings, or if mum doesn't wear stockings, pantyhose, op shops, perfect, they're wonderful. They do question you sometimes, especially when you don't buy from them normally. But you'll see it's a great way of collecting any solid waste. If you wrap a little bit of matting, so just some polyester matting from any aquarium shop, what we now have is a solids trap. The water will come in here and it will collect all of the solid waste. Got the extra little filtration happening here to make sure that none of the fines get through, and then it's all the water will then come through that media guard and spread out into our grow bed. So this sits in our grow bed. We want it up high, so all the expanded clay will be underneath it and all around it. Okay? So this will literally go smack bang directly under where your water's coming in. Water comes in, first it hits your mechanical filter, which is our solids trap. Then it comes through all of the expanded clay, which is your biological filtration, biological filtration, and the water will then flow out. Now, you may be wondering, is all the water going to go from the top and go straight out again? Is the water actually going to get mixed up? Right? I think that's a really awesome question. Thank you for asking. This is one of the extra reasons why we have the media guard, because what happens, and I can't get that one out easily, so we'll use this one. What happens, the water has to come in through the bottom. Let's move it over here. The water has to be able to come in through the bottom to be able to get to get out the standpipe that's up here. So the water has to mix. That's what's happening. It can't just go up through the top. It has to come in through the bottom, through these slits, or through the drill holes, and then rise up the standpipe to then go back down. So the water is going to be mixing really nicely in our grow bed, which is awesome. This is a basic little aquaponics system school project that you could set up for the kids. Or the kids could set up with your help. Awesome. Let me know how you think in the comments, and make sure you check out the video on how to cycle your system, because you can't put your fish in straight away. You have to colonize that bacteria, which is called cycling your system. So getting all the bacteria in there. Check out that video to make sure that you get that happening before you start adding your fish.